to Tennis 2020. Real talk, real people, real life, real answers. We're talking today with Amy O'Connell, who is the Executive Director of USTA Atlanta. USTA Atlanta is the largest community tennis association within the network of CTAs for the USTA. Welcome, Amy. How are you doing?
Thanks. I'm doing good up here in Atlanta.
What is the situation going on there at the moment in terms of what you do? Well, let's go back to the beginning. What does USTA Atlanta administer?
So we're primarily known for our league play. We have several social leagues that go on, and we also have our junior team tennis. So we're primarily known for our league play, which in Atlanta, officially or unofficially, is the tennis capital of the world. So, so we have quite a bit of league play going on, and unfortunately, as of right now, we're suspended until April 20th. So I just, instead of saying suspended, I like to say paused. We have hit the pause button until April 20th. But we are primarily known for our league play and administering leagues across the 6 metro Atlanta counties.
And how many participants generally, what's your count in terms of how many people are involved in those leagues?
Sure. We have about 30,000 members, but those are members. We also offer some non-member programming, so hundreds more. So we're growing all the time, and you hear people talk about I play team tennis or league tennis across Atlanta, and that's us. So we are very big.
So what goes on impacts a large percentage of the population. And, we met a couple of years ago when I lived in Atlanta, and you were a junior tennis player, a really good junior tennis player, by the way. And, so I'm aware of how big league tennis is. There are people that kind of move to different places just because they want to be close to certain teams and beyond and things like that. So when you're in a pause, what's the process going on to figure out when everything's going to come back?
Right, and we're taking our cue from USTA National. We are a community tennis association, so we fall under the USTA umbrella, and we follow our state and our section and ultimately USTA National. So they issued a statement last Friday and said, obviously, the safety and health well-being of our players is priority, and that they would reassess April 20th. So in the meantime, I have a staff that works, at our headquarters, at our office in Peachtree Corners daily, and we're all just coming up with our plans. Our plan A of, okay, April 20th, what does that look like if we get the all clear, or what if that's delayed? What does plan B look like? And adjusting our calendar as we talk about these plans.
So I ran a couple of public tennis centers, and operating those tennis centers, though I was the person in charge of the facility, I was also handcuffed a little bit by the municipality. So if the city of Dallas came down with an edict and said we needed to do something, we were forced to do that. How much of the tennis that's played at league tennis in the Atlanta area is at public facilities, and then what's the process for managing that?
Right. There's only so much we can do when so many of our facilities are at these municipalities. So we've got City of Atlanta courts, we've got Cobb County courts, we've got different counties, different cities, and they've all kind of set their different as far as reassessing the public health. So, we may, as a USTA organization, get the early April that things are ready to go, yet our public facilities aren't opening up until a week or two after that, or set to. They're still getting reevaluated. So we're playing around a little bit with that because, obviously when we're ready to hit the go button on our leagues, many of our teams play out of those public parks or public facilities. So luckily in Atlanta, most neighborhoods have tennis courts, and I wouldn't put it past our players to find their own solution if we did get the okay to find some facilities that were open. But it is something that's definitely a roadblock when it comes to setting our game plan.
Seasons run how close together? Are they pretty much right back to back? So when this spring season ends, the summer season is supposed to start? Um, is that
Yeah,
how it works, or is there a pretty good gap?
no big gaps here, no big gaps as you can imagine. So we were in the middle of some of our spring seasons with some of our leagues, and summer registration's already open. So when one season's going on, registration for the next season is already started, because that next season they are just back to back. So we're really going to have to take a look at our calendar and make the adjustments and go from there. But there's not a big window of time, not a big window at all.
So it's not going to be easy to say, okay, we're going to hit the pause and then just push everything back and we'll start back up wherever we were. There potentially has to be some adjustments in terms of length of season, what playoffs look like, all of
Correct.
those types of things. Are any
Yeah.
of these leagues ones which feed into national, regional, and national type competitions?
Oh yeah, there's several leagues going on right now that are advancing leagues, and that's our concern. We want to provide people with those opportunities. But again, taking a step back, everybody in the country is facing that same issue, and I'm sure our national organization, as well as our sectional and state organizations, will give us guidance on that to try to get in play as much as we can. And it may look like, getting more matches in during a week than normal. I don't know, but we're talking about all kinds of plans moving forward. But that is the goal, to let these teams, if to continue their plan for advancement, because that's so many of our leagues that are in play right now. We have other social leagues, and we have several junior team tennis, our pre-collegiate league. We have a pilot league that's a local pocket league. We're trying to let those leagues play out, or figure out ways to do round robins or things like that. But I mean, it could look totally, everything's up in the air right now as far as what our scheduling will look like.
Thanks for bringing up junior team tennis, right? It is one of the greatest things that exist for a lot of kids. It might be their first taste of competition, and for other kids, it is maybe their most enjoyable piece of competition. At Austin Tennis Academy, we actually won the JTT National 18 and under, both advanced and intermediate, this past year, and we were second for the advanced team. It was their second year in a row, so they were repeat champions, and it's something that we look forward to at Austin Tennis Academy a lot. We encourage any kind of team play. We play college style matches against colleges that are here in the area. We, anything that we can do against other academies. We played our first, because we have a small private school, and we played our first high school tournament against other high schools within the past month. So it's a huge deal, and I suspect for a lot of parents, it's a place where they're excited that they get to go root their kid on. Their practices might be a little bit of a place where the kids get to get outside and run around a little bit. What is the status of generally facilities? Are facilities in Atlanta closed? Are public ones open, private ones closed, or vice versa? What's that look like at the moment?
From the reports I'm hearing, and from my communication with different pros in the area, and from the announcements I've seen, most of our public facilities are closed. I hate to say all, and I might miss some, but most of our public facilities are closed. We have some clubs that are still open, but the league play is obviously not going on, because that would be tied to us or one other organization in our area. So the clubs, if they're open right now, are servicing their members maybe with private lessons and things like that. But majority of our facilities, especially in the public sector, are all closed right now. And back to the junior tennis, I have two kids right now my own, that I'm captaining their teams, and they're in the middle of their season with their friends. And it's such a shame right now that it's on pause, but we're coming up with those plans for when we're able to get back out there, because junior team tennis is just such a great program, just for so many reasons, for the development of not just the tennis player, but them as people, learning how to work with a team, just so many different life skills that come into play. So we of course want to get them on the court as soon as possible, because it's such an important aspect of what we do at USTA Atlanta.
So you've kind of run the whole gamut of what you can do in tennis. You were a junior player, you were a collegiate player, you've coached at the collegiate level, you've operated a public tennis center, and now you're executive director of the largest CTA in the country. Um, what are you hearing? And I guess I'm gonna just, this is personal, but what are your thoughts about what's happening with college tennis and the seniors being closed out, not getting to play their senior year, and discussions in terms of eligibility and things like that? Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it breaks my heart for these seniors that whose season got cut short, and the coaches that have put so many hours into preparing for the season, and my heart just breaks for them. And I know there's, ways to get back that they're discussing ways to get back that year of eligibility, but there's so much people don't realize that go into the details of that, and it wouldn't surprise me that you might not see um, some seniors return for that makeup year, if you want to call it that. A lot of schools are, just the way the budgets are for the sport of tennis. That's great that they get that extra year back, but that school has to then pay for it. So, there's just a lot of details that still have to go into that. But that was when I, saw our leagues getting, postponed or suspended right now, and I just immediately thought, gosh, those poor college seniors, those poor college coaches, and seniors across the country for graduations and things like that. Your heart goes out to them missing that experience, but this is something they'll never forget, and hopefully something that will make them stronger as people. And it makes you appreciate it. It makes you appreciate those times that you're out there with your team, whether it's in a college setting or in recreational league play. You just won't. I don't think you'll take those opportunities for granted anymore.
Do you have any suggestions for people who aren't able to get out and hit balls, be active, or you have that be their activity, of how they can use this time effectively?
Sure, I'll give you two, the player side and, of course, as the staff side. At our office with our staff, we're trying to be creative. We're coming up with ideas on how to get people back out on the court as soon as we get the all clear. But we're trying to make ourselves better, better as a staff, better at the way we administer our leagues. We're working on improving and getting better. And for the player, I think times are right now are limited as far as getting out there with other people, or maybe your instructor. But I think, for me, it's how's your mental game. We can always work on that, whether it's reading books or watching webinars and things like that. But you can go out there and hit a basket of serves with no problem, especially in Atlanta with the access to neighborhood courts. Those won't close. So there's ways to get that exercise in with tennis, but I think we may have to make some adjustments and work on our mental game, work on individual aspects. And then, of course, I wanted people to know that on the backside, we're constantly in communication and looking at ways that we can get better and we can improve for our membership.
Yesterday, I had a discussion with a coach in Soto Grande, Spain, and he was
Yeah.
talking about controlling the controllables, right? So
Right.
that's their academy philosophy, and there are many things right at the moment which we can't control. And if you're a control freak, it's probably freaking you out that I can't deal with this at the moment. But there are a certain number of things which we can control right at the moment, right? And if we can focus on those things, and know that everybody's in the same situation. We're not losing time. It's probably not like it might have felt as a junior athlete, and you get hurt and you feel like, wow, everybody's getting better faster and I'm not getting to
Right.
play these tournaments. This is one where everybody's in the same situation, and you can take it as an opportunity, or you can look at it as, oh, woe is me. And I think those that are looking for those opportunities to get better, and you say as a staff, that's one of the things that you're focused on. Those that take this as an opportunity are going to find themselves ahead. It's not a matter of being left behind at this point in time. It's a matter of, are you going to take the opportunity and move yourself forward with the things that you can control.
Absolutely. And I just really have a feeling, Dewey, that once we get the all clear, whether that's in a month from now or when that timeline is, I think people will be more so ready than ever to get out on a tennis court. I know I am right now, so I can imagine a couple months from now. So I think I'm ready for growth. I'm ready for exciting things when we do get back out there. But I know for our Atlanta membership, they are going to be busting at the seams to get back with their teammates and to get back out exercising. So I'm ready for growth, and I'm ready for exciting times when we get the all clear.
Thank you for your time and for sharing what's going on in Atlanta. Atlanta is a bellwether for tennis in this country, and I appreciate you taking the time, and I hope that if opportunity arises, if we can check back in with you and find out what's going on as we get closer to that all clear moment, or if we find out that it's just going to take longer and seasons are getting washed out and we're now preparing for something that's more extended. Love to hear from you.
Absolutely, we'd be glad to.
This has been Tennis 2020 Real Talk. Our goal is to be the conduit and not the filter for information regarding tennis. We want everybody to come who falls under this tent to, just to be here and to share and to help each other at this time when we feel awfully isolated in many situations, but know that you're not alone. This has been Dewey Evans and Tennis 2020 Real Talk. Thanks for being here.